Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Everlasting Veteran Podcast. I am excited for this. We got more people from around the globe talking about SupportVets app that is launched today, July 4th. Amazing app to be able to have it at your fingertips and be able to find that veteran organization, that veteran business support. And you don't have to be a veteran to be able to use it and show support. Welcome to the studio, gentlemen. We're going to start off with Walter and go around the room and talk about this amazing app that just launched.
Happy Independence Day, everyone. So excited that you could celebrate with us internationally for the launch in the U.S. of the SupportVets app. So SupportVets is a mobile app that helps consumers find veteran-owned businesses and veterans to find support organizations from which to receive assistance. It's on the App Store, Google Play now. The links will come shortly. Definitely download it, get involved, and help us. So excited to be able to join here from Utah. Again, I'm Walter, the founder of SupportVets.
Excellent. And Gary, you've been on before and you have other counterparts. We'll get to you in a minute, but we're going to bring up Craig here. And Craig is obviously over the pond with Gary. And welcome to Everlasting Veteran Podcast. What's this app mean to you?
Thank you. It's been a while now. After the initial contact between Walter and Gary, Gary approached me, and I think I was sold within the first 3 or 4 sentences he told me. With working on what we did at Families for Veterans in the UK, it was always the hope that something like this could come to fruition. So to have this app there now is actually a dream for me, because this is just a way. It's not only per country. People need to realize they can forge links with veterans in other countries, form networks, support the local communities. So there's so much this app is going to provide. It's not a social media platform. This is an app where at your fingertips you can find veteran-owned businesses within seconds. You can find the support you need in your area. What more as a veteran could you want, really, to have everything that you've been looking for there in an instant in your hand now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a testament to what's going on as a global veteran community coming together to be able to support each other, be able to connect, make those connections. Dr. Rob Garcia said it perfectly. That light bulb moment went off for him when he realized that now he has an app where he can do B2B, business to business, make those connections, be able to help further better the veteran community in a different and more positive way instantly, and be able to have that contact information. And Gary, you spoke about it the last episode we did, with your organization of the FAV. Explain that, the founder and CEO of it, and how is that going to incorporate into your organization?
Yeah, sorry, just got a frog in my throat then. Yeah, we've been working on something very similar for about 8 years now, called the VetNet. We got in touch with Walter. It just puts the VetNet on steroids is the easiest way to look at it. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I spoke with Craig and said, right, let's just get all our data pushed across to Walter, get it on the app, because in my mind, why should you be competing with other veterans when you're all doing the same thing? If somebody's got something better, join them. And that's what we did. It was just a no-brainer. And since that day, we haven't looked back, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to bring some new people on. Dan, welcome to Everlasting Veteran Podcast. I know that you had some technical difficulties due to a storm, weren't able to jump on, but welcome. And, for Canada and United Federation of Canadian Veterans, man, that's a mouthful today. How is, you're closer to me than you are Gary. and now we have this connection, and this app is bringing a global community together. How is that going to help and affect Canada's veterans and organizations?
Well, I've been doing what I've been doing since 2012. What this is going to do is open the doors for more talks and more communication between one country to another. And the more we talk with other countries, the more we realize that we all have the same problems. Now, this app will bring people together. And when we first talked about this, I compared it to Facebook. Now, if you know the history of Facebook, it was a very small program which blew up, and it is what it is today. This platform can be the same thing for all veterans. And if we push it that way and make it accessible to everybody, once people know what's going to happen on the app and how it can affect you and other people in the veteran community, then I think everybody will get on board, and it's going to take as least amount of time as possible if we can spread the word as quickly as possible. So I'm very excited about this. I think this is going to blow the top off of everything that any other veterans organization has ever done. And hopefully we can get more countries involved and help people have a better life and have a better standard of living, and to know that they have support out here in the community. Even if they feel like they're alone, they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to touch on that because I spoke to one of the guys I served with in the Australian Army. We speak frequently still after all these years, and having an understanding and perspective of what veterans, are going through in their countries around the globe, and how the government, is being able to handle it, but also being able to connect, like you said, to other veterans that, we serve together and, in the same capacity, and being able to build those connections again after that time in service and be able to grow together. And I think that's what it's all about with the veteran community, of how can we be better tomorrow, and I think this app is definitely going to assist with that in a large scale. And
the other thing too is the mental health side of things. The support needs to be there, and it will be here. And the mental health issue is something that we're also working on too, to make sure that if people are in crisis, they can get the help they need as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that uncomfortable conversation, it's becoming more comfortable because we're getting adjusted, and being comfortable, being uncomfortable is a big thing. And I spoke about it before we started recording, is being uncomfortable is doing, essentially doing something that, you're not necessarily, have the knowledge and everything else to be able to push forward, but you grow in the process. And I think that, this and being able to have those connections and the service organizations and the betterment of the veteran community is what it's all about. And SupportVets is essentially the new wave of the future of being able to connect with each other on a global scale.
I agree.
Jim, welcome to Everlasting Veteran Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kind of dive into your role and how you've become part of, this ecosystem and this community in a different way.
I've been involved in veterans affairs and veterans matters probably for about 12, 13 years, but got heavily into it about 7 or 8 years ago when a friend and colleague of mine lost a very close Marine bootneck friend without any signs. There was nothing on the radar. The guy took his life. We had a chat. He said, I wonder how many other guys are out there that this has happened to we don't know anything about. So I started doing some digging, created a database, and started keeping data and figures, and found out to my horror about that at one stage we were losing 4 or 5 veterans a week. Now, in the big scheme of things, again, and against the sort of the US statistics, it's not big, that massive, but compared to, at the size of our country, those sort of losses weren't documented anywhere. And our Ministry of Defence and our government, once you transitioned into Civvy Street, and a veteran into Civvy Street, you kind of slip the net. The safety net's gone. Unless you're serving, they're not really interested. So they'd record the soldiers serving that took their own lives, but the veterans that once left their employ, there were no data at all. So for the past sort of 7 years, I've been collating that data, and we're hitting just under 100 a year, which on the Freedom of Information that was released 2 months ago, even my figures, and I thought my figures were quite accurate, I was 200 short. There were 356 soldiers in an 18-month period that have taken their lives. I still find it very hard to get to grips with that. It's kind of disappeared and brushed under the carpet. We have various MPs that have stated and initiated initiatives, that's one way of putting it, to try and address the situation, medicating guys, getting them to see various professionals. And of course, some of these guys get medicated and they don't come back, they disappear off the face of the earth. So I stuck with it. And we've formed a group called Veterans United Against Suicide, a chap called Jeff Williams, a bootneck. And we started digging hard into this, speaking with families. And it was horrifying to find out that I deal primarily with the media, the recording side of things, and the mental health side. I understand there's a massive potential here for businesses and veteran service organisations to hook into this and use the infrastructure, logistics, and the network, which is blowing up. We've seen results of that already. So my primary function really was the mental health side and the veteran suicide recording, which I still do, and provide the figures for those that ask for it. But I don't send them out to the media on a free basis, as it were, just to feed their hunger. Because they're only really interested when, as we know, the media, when certain things are flavour of the month. Veterans are flavour of the month every month, and their mental health to me is primary. The business side of things, as I said, Walter's opened something here which is just going to burn like hell. I mean, already I've got emails I need to answer now from media outlooks that want to know more detail, and I've said, look, download the app, have a look. We have how to do tutorials, which will talk you through the basics of the app, but it's going to grow, and there'll be other handles and bolt-ons that are going to be added to it to give it more functionality than it already has. But at the moment, the interest is great. And for me, as a mental health, I always call myself a professional. Everybody's a professional with mental health in my books. This tool needs to be in everybody's hand. Certainly, once Code Red starts fostering itself, and it's in early stages yet, talking with Walter, Gary, Craig, we're scraping the surface with what we can do with this. Everybody knows we want an app that you can push a button and somebody brings you help. It's a bit more complex than that, but it is getting there. But the foundations are being built, and I'm just so eagerly keen to see where we can take this at the minute. And hats off to Walter and the guys that side. They've actually, rather than talk the talk, and there's lots of people this side of the water that do it, this guy's walking the walk, and I have to tip my hat to him. And I just can't wait. Daily, I speak to guys daily. They're saying, "What else can it do? I don't just want to see a business on a map." Neither do we. But it's slowly catch a monkey. You have to approach this thing with tact and diplomacy and do it the right way. Otherwise, it will fall off the map and be an also ran, and that's the last thing we want. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we head to a commercial break, I want everybody to be able to get their phones up. I'm going to put up two QR codes. One is going to be for starting with the Apple Play. This is the QR code. Be able to download it. You can type in SupportVets, and it will come up in your Apple or Google store. And this is the QR code for the Google Play QR. Be able to download that, get it on your phones, and go check out the website as well. It's amazing to me. The veteran community is a very strong community globally, and if we work together, like you've said, and many have said, working together to grow and better the community is going to be the way to be able to find success in all different avenues of approach, whether it's combating veteran suicide, helping your business, service organization. I don't like seeing veterans trying to compete for that imaginary trophy of who's the better veteran, and Gary, I believe you said this perfectly, is why, if you find somebody that's doing something better, join them and work together, and I think I know with SupportVets app, this is going to help bridge that gap and be able to open up that uncomfortable communication, which you may not otherwise have with somebody, and say, hey, listen, I see you do this. How do you do it? Right. And be able to grow together. We all want the same thing, a better community for veterans. And I think it's a testament to what Walter is, created, you guys coming on, having your own parts and pieces and be able to grow into your community and have that connection globally is truly amazing. And Walter, before we flip over to commercial, it leads me into, with SupportVets app and the service organizations in the US and around the globe, the UK, Canada, Australia, and as other countries come on, what does it mean to you having these service organizations be at the fingertips of somebody so they're more comfortable to reach out?
That's a great question. It's really validating and motivating because I've been working at this 9.5 years. I'm not a technical founder. I've learned a lot about tech in this last 9.5 years as I felt the need to create this ecosystem. And now we're at the point that all of these service organizations, they can download the app and then within a handful of minutes through their profile, submit and upload their organization. Literally, if everyone were to download the app today and submit their organization today, by next week, every support for every veteran in each country that it's available would be at everyone's fingertips. That's huge. It's very difficult to search and find. Our team has been scavenging the web, trying to find different resources. We're still cleansing a lot of data, over 100,000 rows, and continuing to add more rows to add. So it's easier. We all know as veterans, we are a team-centric, high-performance mentality group. That's what we do. As a team, we can make this lift and make it quick. So that's the encouragement to everybody. Download the app today. Tell every veteran-owned business, every veteran service organization, and every civilian that understands the sacrifice that the veteran family at large has made for these free nations, and provide that support. Let's let everyone know, because the tool, again, is only as good as the resources in your area, and you know those best. But as Jim had mentioned, we have already on our development glide forecast many different features that we can add. We just need to get the resources together. We deliberately constructed the back end so as to be able to bolt on whatever front end functionality that we need. As the veteran community announces, we would like this feature, we would like that functionality, we can accommodate that. We can collectively gather those resources together and build that feature that's needed to help the global family.
Absolutely. And before we go to a commercial break, when we come back, we'll be talking about how reliable the information is on the app, how you can actually get your veteran-owned business and veteran service organization into the app, how easy that is, and why this app is going to be able to benefit, and what's the cost. We're going to be able to dive into more of that when we come back from this commercial break.
It's a noble calling to join the armed forces and defend our freedoms. It's a testament to the determination and love freedom requires to care for your family while your spouse is deployed. It's a profound honor to uphold the legacy of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. It's inspiring to choose to support veteran-owned businesses. It's rewarding to give of your time and resources to veteran service organizations. Together, we can lift our veterans and show them our heartfelt gratitude. They've given us so much. Let's give back with all the support and appreciation they deserve.
And welcome back to to Everlasting Veteran Podcast. I am Ryan Landry, your host. I am joined around the globe with the SupportVets app. Gosh, words are hard today for me, guys. I don't know what's going on with me. Around the globe, spit it out, Ryan. Here we go. So you guys seen the commercial. It's heartfelt. It's meaningful. And I do get a lot of questions of people that I talk to. How reliable is the information on the app? How can I get my business or organization on the app? And how much is it going to cost? And so we're going to pass it around. We'll start with Walter. Give us some insight of how reliable the information is on the app. And in a sense, the people that I've talked to already go, okay, how do we know this is like a legit business, this is a legit organization, and I should support them because X?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Our team has been working very hard to try to identify all the veteran-owned businesses and service organizations that we can. We've started with the state repositories in the U.S. To capture those data and to start curating and culling them. We've also tried to scour the web to find groups that state veteran-owned, I've served in their websites. It's so difficult to find them. Most of the online repositories are websites, list-derived websites, and a lot I found of these organizations are no longer in business or you can't digitally access them. So what we've done is we've tried to find identifiable targets of potential for veteran-owned businesses. We've gone through and only ingested those that have a website or a social media presence that we can reasonably ascertain that it's veteran-owned. As far as submitting your own organization, this is currently an on your honor item. If you are a veteran or you are director of a service organization that a subset of your mission is veteran support, go to the App Store or Google Play, download the app, and through the profile, you can quickly upload that. It's been great to be beta testing the app over this last month. We've had a lot of great improvements in the submission process, especially. Every now and again, someone gets hung up with a latitude and longitude or an image sizing issue, and that's when you can just email support@supportvetsapp.com. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. There are more and more people signing up for the app, which is great. And I'm sorry if there's any delay in your submission of a request and when we can get back to you. But as far as validating those, we've already got pricing for the star rating and review functionality. We feel that as a community of veterans, we can best validate those quality resources and those that aren't quality resources. There is a huge issue, especially in the United States, of stealing money from veterans. Over $350 million in 2023 was stolen by maleficent nonprofits from veterans. And that's a huge issue, right? So our sincerest hope is all of these nonprofits and organizations are in the ecosystem. And then as soon as we get the resources to build the star rating and review system, if they are a wolf, the community can validate that. And so if a veteran perchance on a social media feed or a website search finds this resource, the hope is drop into SupportVets app, pull it up, and see what everyone is saying. If it's a 0-star with a ton of negative reviews, you know not to engage with them. If you see good community support, great. Our hope is, as far as the validation of veteran-owned business, we have an integration with the state of Utah. They certify veteran businesses. We've been authorized to show their seal of approval. We're hoping all the other states in the U.S. and any other country that has a certification process will allow us to do so we can get their first level validation. And then hopefully the VA here in the United States will enable us to be able to have some sort of direct link so that when you sign up as a veteran status through their website, you can validate. It's still in the nascent state there, but our hope is that we can readily and rapidly get that taken care of. In regards to the question of how much does it cost, there's no mandatory fees. We don't want any veteran that needs assistance or any support organization not to be able to be on there. We know there's a lot of platforms out there that have a fee to submit and upload your business. There is cost. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of development costs and manpower costs to get this done. We didn't want anyone restricted from that. However, like I said, there are expenses that need to be covered. So as far as revenue for our organization, it's in a couple different methods. There's voluntary service contributions you can do through the website. We're encouraging people that want to be a freedom friend to contribute $4.99 American per month. To be a SupportVets supporter, it's $9.99 American per month. Or there's an opportunity to do as much as you want monthly or a single time. We thank you for all of your generosity. In addition, just a couple of days ago, the sponsor screens have completed. So for civilian businesses, especially like Minky Couture and Master Control, or government resources like the Vet Business Resource Center here in Utah, they've contributed to be able to have support to the community, and it makes their work and their support known. So definitely when you download the app, you'll see their ads and logos. Nothing that's crazy pop-up blocking your experience for long. It's a carefully curated, delicate way for them to get the respect of their significant contribution to the community and us to be able to generate those revenues. And then we just opened up our store. It has a simple array of apparel and accessories. More will follow. That will enable us to, one, gain awareness as people are wearing the apparel and those logos that are out there, and then two, having another slight revenue stream to be able to build those features. The code red functionality that Jim had mentioned, where if I'm a veteran struggling, I can press one button in my profile and it will ping out to veterans that I just want to have a conversation with another vet. Usually if you have problems, you want to go chat with a civilian counselor or something about it. You want to go talk to a brother or sister that's been there and done that and understands. And then another button, which would be the code red button, is I'm an immediate issue of suicide. I need help professionally, and that will ping that out. There's a lot more infrastructure involved with that, but we definitely encourage everyone to get involved. If you can, please contribute what you can to support this growth. And it's here to stay. We've been working at it a very long time collectively. It's over 20 years of effort if you combine all the different groups, more than that. And we're here to stay. So please join the movement, get involved, and help us create the change.
Absolutely. And all the information you spoke of, it's supportvetsapp.com, correct?
Support@supportvetsapp.com is the email direct. I'm the one that's checking them early morning hours, so you'll get a message from me. And as we're getting more teammates that are able to contribute their time, then there'll be more people that make it the response time much shorter. But that's the best way to get directly to support if you're having an issue for some reason with the app or whatever. There is an issue with if you're not validating your email when you sign up. Please check your junk and spam folders if it happened to bounce into there.
And the website is where they'll be able to go and be able to check out swag and get more information about the app as well.
There's a link at the top for the store, and then scrolling down towards the bottom, there's the voluntary service contributions there as well.
Absolutely. Now, you touched on it a little bit. We're going to go around the room a little bit because I do think it's an important point to have an understanding of what's going on in the veteran communities around the globe as well, because you know this app is a generation of veterans that have gone through what we've gone through and be able to come together and be able to provide, you know, this is essentially another service, another outlet for those VOBs and VSOs. And you're going to have the legions, the VFWs. And I had this conversation at a local legion that I'm a member of. It's our generation now. The essential torch has been passed to us, like the generations of World War II, Vietnam, Korea, you know, when the people that started the legions, started the VFWs, and that was their outlet to be able to come together, to be able to support each other, you know, and this app is now a mobile remote version of that, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of how I see it. Is this is your network, however big or small you want to have it, but it's going to be there to be able to support yourself, support other veterans, and be able to grow together. Dan, how does that? How do you feel about that statement up there in Canada?
Can you just reiterate what you just said?
Yeah. So like the American Legions and the VFWs and the locations that are created from past generations of a need to help the veteran community. I see SupportVets app in that avenue of approach now with technology, the way it is and everything else, and how people can connect and organizations can connect to better the veteran community.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the problem with the legions now are a lot of veterans don't trust why they're here or what they're doing. They look at them as just a money-making organization and with very little support. In Canada, a lot of the veterans organization or the legions are run by civilians and have no care about what happens to the veteran or whatever. They're just lining their pockets. So this app will replace all these organizations that are failing the veteran and hopefully make life better for all the veterans.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craig, over across the.
Can I just add one more thing? This pin, okay, we got these pins made up to support veterans, and they'll be based on a $20 American amount, and that will support our work and help bring on other initiatives through the sale of these pins. And if Walter wants to say anything else, by all means. Can you guys see?
Really quickly on that. So it's a launch commemoration. It's a durable memento of this international global community standing up. It's a limited edition, so there's only 500 for the U.S., 500 for Canada, and 500 for the United States. Or in the U.K. And our hope is it's an expression of gratitude from our team to those that are the initial contributors to the ecosystem. They reiterate and expand a little on what Dan had said. The RSLs, British Legions, Canadian Legions, American Legions of the world, they are big organizations. They have broad footprints. There is a generational shift. I've had lots of conversations where they're trying to understand how to attract and engage with a younger veteran because it's just the population is aging out. And my hope is that there's an opportunity to collaborate. We'd love to have bridge building so that we can all engage with all of these available resources and support each other to amplify that support. If there's elements of distrust or misunderstanding amongst the veteran community, we can overcome that through collaborative support and making good in the local communities. If the legions and the nonprofits and SupportVets community can all get together in an area and solve a problem, every veteran in that area understands that that's what it's about, being part of the veteran family and the veteran community. So we will be having some in-person groups under the SupportVets flag coming next year. So that way we can help to start threading all of these resources together and engaging with all of the established organizations, finding ways to come together and collaborate. We don't need tribalism. We don't need little camps. We need one united family.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to pass it over to Craig. What is the most important thing anybody listening or watching today could take away from SupportVets?
Well, for me personally, with collating all the data that we have, myself and the UK team have even jumped on to help collate US data and things like that. And the one thing that pops out to me is that in the US, a veteran organisation can be certified by the state. That is something that doesn't happen in the UK. What you call VSOs, support organisations, what we call CICs or community interest organisations, and there is no governance for that. So anybody can start a CIC and pose. So like the US, we get a lot of money conned out of veterans every year. And I think that is something that I would like down the line to try and introduce into the UK. But the app, and this is what I want to make clear, the app is 60 to 70% on the way to doing that on its own. So people can start putting faith in the app because there's a lot of time, energy, sweat, tears have gone into collating that and verifying that data. Even when a business submits, it is then looked at by an administrator to ascertain as best they can if that is actually a veteran organisation. So the trust is there from the start. You can trust the data that's on the app, and you can trust that SupportVets was going to be there to support you going forward.
Absolutely. I want to pass it over to Jim because I want to get a little bit of insight and kind of talk about Veterans Affairs. You know, I deal with the VA and stuff and everything. How is this with the incorporation and kind of working together on your side with Veterans Affairs? You know, on the U.S. side, Walter, you brought the Utah VA in the conversation and getting that support and everything. How is it different with the U.S. VA? You know, with your VA that you have?
Well, we don't have one. It's as simple as that. We don't have a Veterans Affairs organisation. We have a Veterans Affairs office, which is populated by a couple of civil servants and an MP who's got aspirations of, well, who knows what his aspirations are. Where this is really going to be cohesive and knit us all together is if we can get the businesses on board. I was speaking to a couple of guys yesterday that run quite big businesses. A chap called GPR Williams who's got the Job Oppo business. Veterans business. It's getting this app into their hands so they can see what it can do. They've heard an awful lot from a lot of organisations about what they can do, what the breakfast clubs can do, and what various organisations, veterans organisations that spring up can offer the veterans community locally. But you don't see too much of that. There are fishing for heroes and horse riding for heroes and all that sort of thing, which are basically financially driven. Although they would probably argue that. What the app kind of does, it filters out a lot of the money-making side of things, so that there's a filter and a safety net, and then so that once you're looking at the app, the people you're looking at, they've had some sort of verification and confirmation before they're brought on board. So it's not just a matter of downloading the app, putting your stuff on there, putting your pin on the map and saying, look, there I go, free advertising, and there we go. It doesn't work like that. You'd be naive to think so. The work that's gone into it, hopefully, is going to filter out a lot of that. But the problem we have here in the UK is that there's a blasé attitude from some of the older veterans now because they don't see an awful lot happening. They see and hear a lot of hot air about what we're going to do for veterans and what veterans can have, and nobody really steps up and does anything about it. The only time you'll hear anything from the veterans is literally on the VE days or on the Veterans Days, when our MPs will don their medals or whatever and their poppies and pretend that they really do care about veterans. Sadly, it isn't true. And as the years go by and we lose more and more of the elder community that did actually serve and fight on the beaches, that sort of thing, less and less attention is given to it. This sort of thing, this sort of application, as long as it is, I won't say marketed correctly, because marketed always tends to lean onto the financial aspect. But if it's pushed into the network correctly, filtered in, and I say advertised, I suppose is probably the right way, by the right people. So people not see it as a selling point, they see what can it do for me? And that's what the guy was saying yesterday. He said, I've got my own business, I'm doing okay. I said, yeah, but you could be doing better. What sort of advertising you got? What are your overheads? What's it costing you to advertise your business? Because nothing's for free. I said, this sort of thing, have a look at it, download it, put your business into it, and see who springs up next to you. When you put your pin in and do your thing to locate your business on the map, have a look to see who's next to you. Is it a business that you never didn't know anything about? And all of a sudden, we've got a network of veterans now that know who's here, there, and everywhere. And he can say, well, I know John, he's in the next county and he does this. At the minute, there's nothing like that. People can Google stuff, or various other ways that you can look through data. But this is so easy that you can pinpoint or pinch an area and say, look, who's in that area? Ping. All these icons pop up with businesses all over the place, and say, I've got a guy in real estate down the road. I've got a garage guy down. He's a vet. I'll go there. And then you're on the map and you can do your mileage and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there are endless possibilities when you've got something that's built into one application like that. As I say, we're scratching the surface, or Walter's scratching his head as well as scratching the surface, but we're getting there and we will get there. So, it's all good. It's rosy. And I think the possibilities are endless once we get this off the ground. But it's getting it off the ground and getting it into the hands of guys that can actually use it, benefit from it, and then push on that benefit to other people. That's how I see it.
And Ryan, can I add a couple thoughts to that real quick, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
Two items there, especially with the established veteran business owner. What can it do for me? It can enable and empower you to motivate the next generation of veteran entrepreneur. I talk to burgeoning entrepreneurs on a daily basis. They are wanting to create what you've already created. I'm speaking directly to those organizations. You have a vast amount of understanding, experience, lessons learned. Seeing you support them through, one, your presence, and two, your engageability is huge. So sometimes it's easy to look at the what's in it for me. It's harder to look at it what's in it for the community and what I can support into the community. And I think that everyone has limited hours in the day. We have to get a certain amount of sleep. There's so many family concerns. There is an opportunity to have your business that's established and quality be the example, be that lighthouse for those other veterans that would love to try to go down that path. There's a lot of more complex operating environments, whether it's legalistically, operationally, the economies that we're dealing with right now, than 20, 30 years ago when these other businesses were started. But I think, and I hope, that as younger veterans are getting out of the service, they can look to these mentors of significance in regards to influence, in regards to business capability, but more important, in regards to creating a better future for the veteran family, and they can take heart and find inspiration. Over 40 veterans a day in the U.S. are killing themselves, whether it be active suicide or through drug overdoses, etc. There's a lot of deaths that aren't being tracked. That we love what Jim is doing over the sea there, and my hope is that we can view this bigger, broaden the perspective of, if all of the veterans are together, and if these downhearted veterans can see examples of success, it's much easier to go through the slog of the depression, the anxiety, and everything they need to do to get through, because they are surrounded by those that have done it and that have succeeded it. Another quick point in relation to the data accuracy, cleansing, and engageability. We want all of the resources in the ecosystem, and then as soon as we have the resources to be able to vet and validate through reviews and star ratings, to confirm, is this group in it just for the money? Are they trying to provide good, but they need some of that money? They need additional grant awareness, the ability to be able to engage those businesses that have the funds to be able to provide those to the nonprofits. I think that that's something where if you zoom in on your specific location and there's not a pin there, I guarantee you spend 20 minutes talking to some friends, you can buy 5 or 6 veteran-owned businesses or service organizations or government resources, push it to our team, and we'll add them, and then they'll be there, right? As Jim has said, we're just barely scratching the surface of functionality as well as the volume of the resources available. And this is a long game. This is a war of attrition, so to speak. And we're committed and dedicated to be in the long game. This will not go away. This will be here to stay. And as we put our collective effort behind it and motivate others to be inspired to hope and dream and to believe that we can create a global community, we can create something that is of meaning and of value and makes immediate resources for the support in the way the veteran needs it immediately. And this is for service members as well and their families. They can all download it and access those resources. So I just wanted to provide that additional thoughts and clarification, because what's in it for me? Yes, you get additional visibility. Yes, you have an increased engageability from the B2C perspective that Rob had mentioned. But more importantly, you can allow yourself, we all hate to be in the spotlight. We don't like to talk about what it's uncomfortable. I personally don't like it either. I really don't. But I think at some point we have to be willing to be uncomfortable enough to say, I've done that. I can do this. I can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jim had a few points that I wanted to touch on. I'm going to pass it over to Gary for this afterwards. People can Google stuff, right? But, everybody knows that when you go and Google, any of the big companies or people that have enough money to put their stuff first is going to populate, it says sponsored above it, and everything else. And, you don't get the filter of possible other businesses or organizations that are close by that you may not even know of, and I've had this conversation for weeks for a couple different organizations here in Connecticut that I didn't know they exist for the first 2 years, and they're going on year 4, or year 5, and they're right down the road from me, and I bring people up there, or show them the center and everything else, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't even know it was like this." I didn't realize the extent of it. I didn't realize they had this. I'm coming here more often now, because now they see it, and the visibility side of things is huge for people understanding what it's all about, and get a good grasp on it, and, essentially buy into it, not in a monetary means, but buy into it, and because they understand how the value of this app will have a value to each and every person that uses it. And Gary, Jim touched on it, and I didn't realize that, here in America, we have, the Department of Veteran Affairs, a national, service, hospitals, all that kind of stuff. How difficult has it been, the startup with your organization and continuing it, getting that message out that, hey, we're here, this is what we offer, and, come find us, and how difficult has it been for you or other people finding you?
To be honest, it's been an absolute nightmare. We started this in 2018 for that very reason. You're always seeing it on social media. You'll see a veteran asking for help. First question you should ask, where are you? If they've got this app, all they've got to do is push the button and it shows you what's in that area. Up until now, there's nothing been available like this at all. And the fact that it's global is just bloody amazing. And like he was saying, that there's various organisations in the UK, mainly big ones that people are joining, such as Cosbio, ASDEC, and a couple of other ones. But you've got thousands of small non-profits, Facebook groups that are out there supporting. They can't get anything because they're such a small organisation, but they're doing work on a daily basis, which is helping veterans and not getting the recognition for it. And this is something that we've tried pushing with the VetNet. And like I said, with this app now, it just makes it so much easier because, like you said, you open it up, you create your profile, you add your service organisation or your business. It takes you less than 5 minutes to do it. Up until now, you've either got to join one of the business directories. I think there's about 3 or 4 in the UK, I think there is. Or if you're a service organisation, try and join one of the official organisations that set up. It's just an absolute minefield in the UK. Like I said, this app, it just changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to flip it over to Dan, with the UFO CV founder and CEO. How has it been for you guys in Canada as far as the veteran community goes, of being able to connect, communicate, and grow? How are those challenges overcome without this app?
For us, we're all very well connected on the platforms that we're on. There's a lot of organizations that support veterans, and with this app, it'll bring people closer together. In Canada, we believe that supporting veterans is the way to go. And with veterans I've talked to, they've always asked, are there other veterans organizations out here that support veterans? So we always take them and we push them out to on the internet and say, we're here to support you. And when I talk to veterans, they always ask, is there veterans organizations that we can support? Because we are veterans, we want to support other veterans. And this app will do that for us on a larger scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you guys giving me the insight, into, the challenges and successes within your veteran communities, because I do think it's important that we connect on that level and understand, what we're going through as a global community and how we can better each other and bounce ideas off of each other and grow our communities in our local aspect, but also in a global aspect as well. And the one thing I gotta say, like with the visibility thing, is, Veterans Rally Point in Norwich, Connecticut, and is an amazing facility. And people go there. There's a gym, there's pottery, there's woodworking, there's yoga, there's computer lab. I'm building a studio up there for them. And they got the 5K Your Way Freedom Stride coming up October. And it's an amazing, amazing facility for military members, veterans, and their families. And it's all encompassing, right? All abilities, all walks of life. Just walk in the doors, and the services are free. The membership is free. It takes 5 minutes to sign up, and you get to go and use the facility at your leisure. When they're open, Monday through Friday, 8 to 8. But I look at this app and I look at what they're doing just on a small local level in Connecticut, and I see the same aspects with this app on a global scale to be able to find resources, network together, find your businesses. The other day I was kind of on a venture of, okay, let me find a new veteran-owned coffee shop and see if I can reach out to them, make a connection, and see where I can support, because obviously I love coffee. That's why I'm all amped up this morning. But it takes some time, right? It takes some time Googling it. You get the other companies coming up, or maybe there's a company that they're using the name soldier or, veteran or whatever the case may be. And it's not a veteran owned business. They're utilizing the name as more of a brand. And, you're kind of question, are you okay? You're using it off the backs of veterans that actually served. And it kind of sits ill with me in that aspect. You're making money off of the work that veterans have done. My point is, for that is this app, correct me if I'm wrong, Walter, is going to be able to immediately filter out all of that.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So there is a slight possibility of an accidental ingestion or a potential person that submits that's a stolen valor scenario. It is possible. We're trying to gather everything together. There's potential some froth, right? But as you had stated specifically, and Jim had mentioned and Craig had mentioned as well, we are close to being able to have the SupportVets certification, where we have a process where we can certify and officially place an emblem on each of these businesses, especially in the countries that don't have that certification available, so that the consumer can be confident. So again, since we are an on your honor ecosystem right now, there is, through the filtering, an opportunity for you to say certified, and that will down select to only those that are certified. Currently, we only have the authorization from the state of Utah to be able to use their seal. So that's what you would see when you press certified. And my hope is that all the other organizations, whether it be state or the SBA, that have the certifications, will allow us the privilege of surfacing this consumer confidence through showing their emblems. But at the same time, we're trying to create this collaborative ecosystem. So that's what Craig had mentioned. We're working towards being able to have a process in place to certify those businesses. There's additional costs associated with that. So there possibly will be a slight fee to be able to cover those costs to be able to do that certification. But that way, immediately, you can find a certified business. And again, for everyone, please be patient as we're cleansing those data and getting the ecosystem up and running. Rome wasn't built in a day, so they say, and neither was a global ecosystem of support. So I feel that if we can all put on our 5 years forward glasses and see, okay, by the end of 2030, every veteran-owned business, there's about 2.5 million anticipated in these countries, every service organization, every government-provided support, the code red functionality, the reach out to your battle functionality, the star rating and the review system, and we could potentially have jobs that you need filled at your veteran-owned business through the application as well. There's a myriad of opportunities and possibilities. The only thing we need is a little time, a little effort, and a little money to make them a reality. So the situation you gave specifically, my hope is within the few short months, for most people in most populated areas, they can immediately find those veteran-owned businesses. They're not yet certified, but they have a high degree of probability and validity that they're veteran owned for the business side. And then the nonprofits, we need to get that star rating and review. So please, if you do have the opportunity to contribute, make that contribution. But then our intent is to be able to have our own certification so that each business that is veteran owned gets that validation without having to pay much, if anything, for it. Our hope is it's nothing. We have to see how the contributions go. But then in these other countries that don't even have the infrastructure immediately like we do from the government side of things, that have state certifying, et cetera, we want to be able to provide them immediacy so that right away they bring on the country. I'm having conversations with veterans in France. We have a group in Austria, in Australia, so that we can immediately, you help us with the geography, you help us understand that dynamic, and you help us to start resourcing data. As soon as we have somebody willing to run up the SupportVets strategic partner flag, such as Dan and Gary's groups there in the UK and Canada, we can bring the app on live. It's literally just a request to Google and Apple, hey, make it live in this country. So the potential is huge, and the opportunity to alleviate friction is enormous.
Absolutely. And we're gonna close it up here on this Independence Day for the global launch of SupportVets app, starting with the US and filtering to the UK, Canada, Australia, and other countries that come on board. Closing remarks. We'll get Craig up here. Craig, one last thing, the listeners and watchers, downloading this app today.
Yeah, I mean, download the app. And for those forward thinkers, there's also the chance to create organizations. Look at other countries, seeing what they're doing that maybe not in your own country. I think that's a brilliant idea. So we can introduce certain standards globally, and this is a user-driven platform. So we can introduce what the veteran community needs if the veteran community back us. We're here for long run, so get it downloaded tonight. It'll benefit you.
Well, pass it to Dan for some closing remarks. This app launching globally, and this network that you guys have beautifully created. Give some closing remarks to listeners and watchers.
Okay, well, one thing I want you to do is look at this team right here. All military, very professional. These guys have been working their butts off for people, and we're not getting paid. All we care about is making sure that people get support they need, and we will worry about everything else later. We will not stop until this is a success, and we are military, and we will make it happen. We want everybody on board to support us as we've supported you, and we will be here for you. This is a growing organization, and as things come on board, it'll get bigger and better. And we need the support from everybody, and we're here for you. So we want you to be here for the other veterans. And it doesn't matter what country we're in, if we're the US, UK, United States, or Canada, or any other country, we're all veterans. We all have the same values, and we all care about each other, and we want to lift each other up. That's what this app is about.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jim, some closing remarks. Thank you for coming on. And what do you have to say for the listeners and watchers?
Difficult to add any more or any better to what Dan and the others have articulated. All I would say is failure is not an option with what we do. Once we're on board, any veterans on board, you just don't fail. You go till you stop. The door's open now. You just got to get folks to walk through it. It's a massive open world there, and it's a new beginning. You have to try it. Send the links to all your friends and get them to look at their websites, get them to look at Facebook and all the other social medias, so they're not walking blindly. The initial few days and months are going to be testing, not just from the app side of things, but testing for people to come on board and not just think it's just another app, because that's the last thing it is. It is not just another app. It is the app. And we need to make sure that people get hold of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well put. And Gary, closing remarks for listeners and watchers. And, thank you for coming on again.
Hey, you're welcome. There's been a saying going around the UK within the veteran community for about 4 or 5 years now, I think. And the saying is, together we are stronger. This app makes it happen. Download it. It's free. Use it. Feedback, add stuff. This is what it's about. Coming together internationally, globally. 27 million veterans, I think there is in the world. I think, what wasn't it?
Yeah, there's 22 and a half in just these 4 countries alone.
Yeah.
So if you consider amplifying that by all the other countries, there are dozens and dozens of millions of veterans that deserve the community that we are creating.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll pass it to Walter. Closing remarks. I appreciate you coming on and being able to spread this message. And love the shirt, by the way. I definitely am going to have to get one of those.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you to the international team for celebrating with us the official launch here in America. November 11th, UK and Canada will have their celebration. The app's live now. Don't wait till then. Download it today, right? But that's the official celebration that we can champion and applaud all of the organizations that have worked for so long, for so many years, to the point that now we're officially launching the ecosystem. And then next Anzac Day next year in April, we'll celebrate Australia's official launch. So my closing thoughts are, if we don't do it, no one will.
Yeah.
We as a veteran community don't come together and get involved and create the change for ourselves, no one's going to. We are the cavalry. So it's already been called. It's coming together. Join in with us, get involved, and help us. If you have an opportunity, tell your friends. If you're able financially to make a contribution to the community, please do so. After you've thought through, you've engaged with it, you understand it. Because this is all voluntary. We've all been working for very long to create this offering to you. And now we are presenting it. It's a vulnerable moment, right? This is something that we are presenting. It is a commercial grade application that we're working on getting an enormous amount of volume of resources in for you. For you, if you're a veteran, a service member, a family that's often to the wayside as the service member serving, the family takes a lot of impact. And that's something that needs to be championed, supported as well. And especially if you're a civilian that understands the value of the freedom in your nation that you enjoy on a daily basis, you and your family, please get involved, support those businesses that you find, support those nonprofits with your time and your resources, support the community here, and get involved, please.
Absolutely. I wanted to just say I appreciate every single one of you coming on to be able to spread this globally. And we're going to have a brief conversation right after this is done. I want to first and foremost say thank you to all the military members that are continuing to serve right now, and then our veterans around the globe in the U.S., Canada, Australia, UK, the ones that we fought right beside. And like Dan said, we are in the same mindset. And I want to just share with you, like, the saying that we have, or that I've kind of come up with a little bit, Gary, is you can't have community without unity, and being in a unified front of sorts is crucial to be able to build the community up. But you have to start with being unified and having that unity to have that community. So, like we've said before, we are in the same mindset. We may say it a little bit different. I just learned that, you guys, your boxers are called shorts, not underwear. That's something that I learned today. And it is amazing being able to connect with all you guys in a different aspect. And I appreciate every single one of you coming on Everlasting Veteran Podcast. And if you're looking to podcast like a professional, go check out podcasttables.shop. That's the table in which I'm running from here in Connecticut, from Everlasting Veteran Podcast Studio. Amazing company. The Table, they're a veteran supporter, and they've come on with Everlasting Veteran to be able to provide this amazing table here and be able to do what I do. And just to give an overall shot of the studio, this is what I'm working with here. A lot of people see when I'm in a remote setting, it's zoomed in, and when I have guests in studio, it's comfortable. It feels like a living room. It's amazing. So thank you, podcasttables.shop. Another thing, go check out SupportVets. app.com. You'll be able to find all your information there. But download the app today. It is available. You can download it. You can sit there. You're already scrolling through TikTok to be able to find that funny video that you want. You might as well download the app and find that business or veteran organization that you can go and support and be a part of, and be a part of that community. You may not even know they're right down the road from you. And that's what this app's going to do. I appreciate everybody. This is Ryan Landry with Everlasting Veteran Podcast. Take care.
It's a noble calling to join the armed forces and defend our freedoms. It's a testament to the determination and love freedom requires to care for your family while your spouse is deployed. It's a profound honor to uphold the legacy of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. It's inspiring to choose to support veteran-owned businesses. It's rewarding to give of your time and resources to veteran service organizations. Together, we can lift our veterans and show them our heartfelt gratitude. They've given us so much. Let's give back with all the support and appreciation they deserve.